Hello, everyone, and welcome to Backlot Banter, the show Backlot Banter, our monthly box office recap. Good time. It's not really a show as much as it's just a good time between two friends.
I don't like to consider this a YouTube video. I like to consider this a good time.
Yeah, it's just a good time between two good friends.
If you like good times.
Tanner Dykstra, Tucker Hazel. If you like good times, thank you, Tucker, you should subscribe to Backlot Banter, a show or a YouTube channel where we don't do YouTube videos. No. We do YouTube experiences.
Oh, so
okay?
true.
That's what millennials are all about. They're not about vacations or YouTube videos. They want experiences.
Sure. Is that a thing about millennials who don't go on vacations?
I think so.
Okay, I don't know. I guess I don't know
anyway,
millennials.
You know what? That's okay, Tucker. All you need to know is that they be on their phone.
That's a great point, and that's why the last duel failed.
Yes, and if you want to be on yo phone on Discord, you can join that link. That link's in the description. There, you can talk box office with us. You can talk movies with us. You can talk video games with us. You can talk anything with us. Really,
holy shit, that's a lot of options. Anything? God.
And if you are on your phone or on your computer, give this video a like. And ring that bell so you get alerted to all the new videos that we upload here to Backlot Banter, because we will be uploading a lot of them because we are in the thick of award season.
Experiences, good times.
Sorry, old habit die hard.
Yeah, it's
experiences.
Okay. It's a new direction for BLB.
Yeah. We'll be uploading a bunch of experiences as we experience award season in the closing days of it, you know?
Mm-hmm. So true.
Regardless, we had a lot of fun up top because that's what this is. It's a good time. But we're here to talk about February 2023 at the box office.
One of the most iconic months in film ever.
That's true. That's true, Tucker.
I just like saying ridiculous claims and see how they sit, you know?
Yeah. Enough of that, Tucker. Enough of silly claims. Let's get to the facts. Let's get to the numbers. Let's look at the top 10 domestic openings of February 2023.
Yeah, let's do it. This was a top-loaded month, I think you could say. Because guess what? A Marvel movie released, and this is what happens when a Marvel movie releases. But, as we'll talk about, this Marvel movie isn't quite hitting the highs that this franchise usually does.
This ain't your daddy's MCU movie.
That's true. It's your MCU movie. It's our MCU movie. Welcome to Russia. But that still doesn't mean, even if it's not performing on the level that most MCU movies do, that doesn't mean that it's not over $80 million ahead of the number 2 spot, of course, going from Quantumania to Cocaine Bear with $23 million opening weekend. Number 3, Jesus Revolution. That spoke to some market, and they came out for it.
Coming out of nowhere with the chair from the top rope from Jesus here.
Jesus
at number
Christ,
3, taking him with at number 3, commanding the number 3 spot. And we'll keep working our way down, but yeah. Taking that top 5 spot from a film that we both thought was going to be in there.
Yeah, we've got Knock at the Cabin and 80 for Brady finishing up that top 5 with, fine opening weekends, normal for this current time period. But Magic Mike's Last Dance got kicked out of the top 5, and then you got a bunch of horse shit fell out of the top 10. And this is what usually happens. You know, you get 4 or 5 big releases in a month, sometimes 6, and then Jesus Revolution just barely counts, so really 5. And then just a bunch of stuff that you're like, really? That made it in the top 10? And Tanner, I'd like you to share with our friends in the audience what number 10 made. A film called The Amazing Maurice that we have made a lot of fun of because it looks bad. I'm sure it was bad. But it still made it in the top 10, so that's something to shake a stick at.
Tucker, we thought it was bad, but our opinion isn't worth squat because we didn't see it. But
that's a great point.
$1.4 million worth of people saw that movie opening weekend.
Yeah, that how much is a person worth, Tanner?
I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one, Tucker. Let's move on to how we shaped up with our box office predictions for this month. Because as we said, no one really expected Jesus Revolution to break into that top 3. To break in the top 5, let alone the top 3, rather. But we were a little all over the place. Yeah, we're a little rough. I do have our numbers here. If you just give me uno momento, por favor.
Oh, comparing to how they actually did.
Yeah, let's take a look here. So, we both had Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, naturally, at number 1. I said it would not break 100 million. I had it at 98, and you had it at 105, so good job to you. Made
That is
very
almost
close.
entirely spot on. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Close enough to be, let's consider that
If
spot
you can
on,
get if you can get within 5 million on either direction, I think that's pretty comfortable. Let's narrow that a little bit. Like 2 or 3 within either direction.
Yeah.
I'd say you're spot on with that.
Yeah.
But within 1, that's almost right on the money.
Impressive stuff. Then we both had Knock at the Cabin at number 2, which obviously did not shape up to happen. I predicted it at $32 million opening weekend.
Jesus Christ. That's
and you
more
gave
than double what happened.
You gave it 23.
Okay, well,
so
I was still off. I was You were 20 million away. I was only a measly 10 million away.
Yeah, I'm sure that film could have used it, as we'll get to when we break these down movie by movie. Number 3, we both had Magic Mike's Last Dance. I said 18, you said 15. And in our defense, Tucker, and we could say this later, but I'm going to say it now.
Yeah.
We didn't know that WB was going to bungle the release of this one.
Yeah.
We'll get to details on that in a moment. Number 4, I had Cocaine Bear, and you had 80 for Brady. So
I honestly
I was more accurate.
I overcommitted to 80 for Brady because I was just like, yeah, this is the meme thing. But you, I think rightfully, said, hey, no, take a look at Cocaine Bear. Everyone's memeing it. Everyone wants to see it. And it did do very well enough to get its number 2 slot. And I just wasn't confident in Cocaine Bear. I think I said something to that effect at the end of the last episode.
Yeah.
But I was wrong. I was wrong. And I'll eat my crow. I'll eat my Coke.
You had Cocaine Bear at 9, and I even lowballed it at 15. So, yeah. And then we both. I said 80 for Brady at number 5 with 13 million. And you know what? Very close. Very close.
Incredibly close. That's 300K away. That is even closer to the money. What did I have it at? I didn't have it in my top 5. That's right. Because I had.
No, you did not.
I had Titanic, which I guess I thought would do better because I don't know, Avatar released last year. Yeah.
Actually, Tucker, look, if you just give me a second, I'll find out what Titanic that re-release made opening weekend. But Tucker, give me just bloviate a little bit about what you feel about this top 5.
Well, first I want to talk about the term bloviate because I've never heard that word in my entire life. Did you come up with that?
I think I used that word correctly. I might have.
Oh, to talk at length, especially in an inflated or empty way. BLB word of the day. Bloviate.
But Tucker, you bloviated about my usage of the word bloviate far enough that I was able to find out that Titanic, the 25-year anniversary version, made 6.7 opening weekend.
Okay. Fine. Yeah. And also that only stuck around for what, like maybe 2 weeks, so...
Yeah, it was there and gone, so, yeah. Tucker, knock, knock, knock. Do you hear that? What's that? What?
Is it the cabin?
It is the cabin, Tucker. Knock at the cabin. At a total right now of just about $53 million.
Yeah.
Now, as indicated by my prediction for it, I thought this movie was gonna do gangbusters.
Yeah.
I thought people were gonna go out in droves for the new M. Night Shyamalan film. Dave Bautista's in this. It had an intriguing premise, good trailers, I thought.
Yeah.
And it was partially true.
Yeah.
It didn't underperform.
Well, no, it did. It did underperform, especially when you look at that $20 million budget. It did double that, so I don't think that... is this Universal, I think? Yes. I don't think they're that disappointed in this movie, but knowing the potential of M. Night Shyamalan to do big box office numbers, even with a movie as mediocre as, like, Glass, this could have done so much better. And I think that it's very much hampered by that C cinema score. Cinema
People
score.
didn't care for this one too much. 6.4 on IMDb. Yeah.
Yeah. And 68.
Which is too bad. Because we both like that movie. We both think it's a good movie.
I haven't thought about it since, to be 100% honest.
Yeah, fair point. But is it just a thing of, like, people were expecting some big things happening? Especially when you're doing cinema score, you're walking out of the theater as they pull you, and you're expecting an M. Night Shyamalan twist, and sorry, folks, Knock at the Cabin does not have that.
Yeah, and that was actually my biggest critique of the movie, is it just kind of petered out at the end, and there wasn't any larger reveal that recontextualizes the content you knew from before that M. Night Shyamalan is so good at, and one of the reasons why I liked Old so much. I thought this movie was very strong at the start. I think it had a strong middle, but I think it ended kind of low. I think that's a perfect reason to encapsulate hey, I'm walking out of the theater, I'm a little bit underwhelmed by what just happened. And if you're underwhelmed, if enough people are underwhelmed, that contributes to a low cinema score, and apparently also a low domestic opening, because M. Night Shyamalan's lowest wide opening weekend for any of his films. Oof. Uh-oh. That's not great.
Yeah, but we do have to give Knock at the Cabin its due diligence. It did defeat the Disney control over the box office. 12 weeks of control between Wakanda Forever and The Way of Water. Impressive stuff from Disney, of course, and even more impressive, I would say, of Universal's M. Night Shyamalan's little film that could, taking it down.
Yeah, it would have been even sadder if this hadn't happened and Disney got just to snowball straight into Quantumania and pick up more weeks at number one. Not too many, because Quantumania is not going to stay at number one for very long, as we have we just saw Creed 3, and Creed 3 is trouncing that film. But yeah, that's just like one thing that I can hold its head high for. It's like, it knocked down Avatar: Way of Water, number 3 highest grossing film of all time. That is something that is mildly impressive, but also that film had been out for like 2.5 months at that point, so it's not great.
Yeah, I will say as though, but good things and bad things be damned. M. Night Shyamalan is still cranking these things out. He has his next film coming out next year already, and he's like producing a TV show alongside all of this stuff. Yeah. His next film comes out June 7th. That is his daughter's film. Is The Watchers, coming out on June 7th. His next film is August 5th, called Trap.
Next year, 2024.
Next year, both of those next year. Doubling up on Shyamalan.
August which?
August 5th, Tucker.
Oh, that's my birthday movie next year. Let's go. Oh, that's going to be exciting.
That is exciting. Any whoozle-be. Moving on. Knock, 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 Tucker. Oh, who is that? Is that 4 old women trying to get into the Super Bowl?
Uh-oh. We've got 80 for Brady here, which I think was probably my favorite release of last month, because this movie surprised me. Knock at the Cabin, I think I was expecting to enjoy a bit, because I'm a good, solid fan of M. Night Shyamalan, but 80 for Brady could have been cheap, it could have been not funny, but I really enjoyed the movie. We did a very fun review of it with our friend Sam Meltzer, and it's not actually doing that great. It's not even close to doubling that $28 million production budget, which is very high for a movie of this scope and for this kind of audience. But there are still some saving grace elements to this film, which is an A- cinema score is good for a movie like this. Actually, that might be it. That's the only saving grace, is that it got a pretty good cinema score. Oh, I was trying to spin this, but
here's what I will say. I'll be nice to 80 for Brady. It's a very lovable film, okay?
Absolutely. We liked it.
We did like it. We had a good time reviewing it with Sam, and you take a look at that $28 million budget, and as you said, Tucker, that is a question mark, because that's way higher than even some of the other films on this list. And I think are these 4 ladies getting their money and running, Tucker? Are these 4 Oscar nominees? Mm-hmm. Some of them Oscar winners. 4. I wrote that down here, by the way. The 4 leads have 12 Oscar nominations between them and 5 wins.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy, but it also does indicate that winning Oscars doesn't necessarily translate to box office draw. We've seen that with even stars who are much younger than them that you would consider to be box office draws. Like Margot Robbie doesn't pull in too much money at the box office, even though she is a multiple-time Oscar nominee, Oscar winner. Nope. No, not Oscar winner.
No.
Nominated multiple times, though. But, hey, that is still fun. I love all these ladies. I love that they've gotten their wins and their noms, but...
And maybe it should have performed better than it did, because as you look down there, reportedly, this film did sell more tickets than Knock at the Cabin, which also released that first weekend of February, but at matinee prices. And that's the double-edged sword of pandering to the old crowd, Tucker. They're going to go see it on a Sunday afternoon. They're going to pinch some pennies.
That is also doubly true for this movie not getting as much money as it could in that, where's that international release? I guess because it's American football, it doesn't have too much of a draw.
Yeah,
but
I guess that makes sense.
I'd expect at least a somewhat limited release for people who are interested in these Oscar-winning actresses in other countries to want to go and see this, but I guess thematically it has no draw.
some American expats who are interested in the Patriots. You know, they're expats but not expatriates, even though that's what expat means.
Oh God, 80 for Brady. Knock, knock, knock. Oh, what's that?
Who is that? Is that a man doing a sexy dance?
Oh God, Magic Mike's Last Dance, February 10th, 2023. Closing out the Magic Mike trilogy. Steven Soderbergh back in the chair.
Big man's chair.
For a disappointing, basically in every regard, film here.
Yikes. Yeah. We alluded to this earlier when we were talking about it not even making that top 5 when a lot of us thought it would. Some of us not privy to the information that this would only get a 1,500 or 1,600 film rollout. Specially curated, as Warner Brothers like to say.
That's what we like to call specially curated by the fact that Warner Brothers doesn't have enough money to release this film in a wider release.
Yeah,
they didn't have enough money to make more money, Tanner. Do you know how sad that is?
That is the sad state of affairs that Warner Brothers have found themselves in. Just a vicious cycle of not having money and not having money to put their movies out, and therefore not getting enough money.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It was also interesting to note this is the first #1 weekend finisher. It was #1, and it's at February 10th because nothing else big released that week. Partially because this was releasing, but also largely because Ant-Man was the following week.
Yeah.
But it was the first #1 weekend finisher to not hit double digits since last Labor Day. So been a while. But you know what? Magic Mike, as always, setting boundaries, hitting records.
Yeah. If we want to compare it just a little bit to the previous film, Magic Mike XXL, which pulled in over double what Last Dance did, but also for a third of the budget. So that is a film that I think, even though Soderbergh wasn't the director of Magic Mike XXL, usually he's pretty good at making films on micro budgets, and even if they don't perform very well, they're still making his money back. But this one doesn't. $45 million budget. We were just talking about how 80 for Brady had a surprisingly high budget with $28 million. Mm-hmm. I guess Soderbergh just wanted to splurge here. You are the only one of the two of us that have seen this film. Did it feel like it needed to cost $45 million, Tanner?
No. Maybe it's...
Where'd that money go?
Maybe it's Tatum and Hayek taking big paychecks. They are bigger stars now.
Maybe.
Tatum probably a bigger star than he was back in 2015.
Yeah.
But also it's... especially with XXL, that's just a road trip movie that was definitely shot in like Florida and Georgia or whatever.
Yeah.
Magic Mike's Last Dance is set and presumably filmed in the UK. So you got to go international for it. You also, I got to remember, there was probably some pandemic delays with this one. So.
Of course there was, yeah. Well, maybe, but also Steven Soderbergh is a notoriously like short window kind of guy. He made Kimmy and oh god, what was the other one that was right before that? That had a bunch of No Sudden Move. He's been making a lot of movies since the pandemic started. So I don't know if that actually contributes too much for this, unless it was like in pre-production for a long time. But who knows if Magic Mike's Last Dance required that. But also, bad Rotten Tomatoes, bad IMDb,
bad word of mouth on this one.
No cinema score.
Yeah. Also, worth mentioning, it didn't roll out in a lot of places. It got half the release it should have. So
yes, true.
Yeah. I think it's also releasing on HBO Max somewhat soon as of time of recording. It's already on VOD. So.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But anyway, should we keep doing the bit, Tucker? Should we keep doing it?
Knock, knock, knock.
Who is that?
It's Kang the Conqueror.
Is it Kang? Is that Kang that I hear?
Is that the knock, knock, knock? It's the start of Phase 5.
Oh, it is the start of Phase 5. Ooh, listen to those sweet sonorous sounds of Phase 5.
Yeah. And you know what we're not hearing? We're not hearing ka-ching, ka-ching, because that's the usual sound.
We're hearing some ka-chings, but not as much ka-ching as we would be expecting, I would say. Because Ant-Man and the Wasp's Quantumania is, I don't know, what do you call this? A fool's errand in kicking off Phase 5?
It's a bruise on the MCU, to be 100% honest. The track record of the MCU has been rocky since Phase 4 started and the pandemic happened. There have been some solid highs. We've gotten Wakanda Forever being nominated for multiple Oscars. We've gotten No Way Home. being one of the highest grossing films of all time. We've gotten a
making
lot
that
that
cool
are doing.
Billy.
Exactly. None of the other movies since then have been able to recreate that, although Multiverse of Madness did get very close. But most of the movies have been doing about what you'd expect, but lower than Phase 3. But Quantumania is a real stinker in terms of box office, especially when you compare it to one of the other lowest grossing MCU films of all time, its predecessor, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
People were like, okay, well, this is the start of Phase 5, Kang the Conqueror. What did the Ant-Man and the Wasp have going for it? I guess the build-up to Endgame, but Quantumania, Phase 5, Kang, this is going to at least beat that. No. Not in any regard. It's just over half the total of what that made. Though Quantumania still does probably have a month at least left at the box office, scrounging some scraps from the other big March releases. But costing more than Ant-Man and the Wasp, making less, lower Rotten Tomatoes, lower IMDb, lower Cinema Score, lower everything across the board.
Yeah, just bad stuff.
Except for that budget, of course.
That's the one thing you don't want to be higher, though. That's the
Oh God.
And it's just like,
it looks worse. Let's be honest.
It looks worse. Yeah, it does look worse. It really makes you wonder about this. When this film came out, to the scattered applause that it did get, it was lucky to get. A lot of people were banging that drum about superhero fatigue.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably a more pertinent conversation now than ever.
Yep.
And it really makes you wonder how they're going to turn this around. We do have some headlines that pertain to this later on, about how Marvel may be slowing down the production line here. But they didn't slow it down in time enough for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Yeah.
And well, let's look at the tidbits here, because these are the three big things I feel like there are to say about Quantumania from a business standpoint. You have the biggest rollout in 2023 in theaters so far, more than 4,300.
Not that there's any competition.
No,
to be
not
100% really. Honest.
Yeah. But it's probably honestly going to end up being one of the biggest because it is a tentpole MCU release.
True, of course. Yeah.
You also have the lowest MCU Rotten Tomatoes score, tied with Eternals at 48%. So
I'm gonna pull up Eternals box office mojo here real quick. I just want to see what that ended up making.
Yeah, go ahead and look
overall,
that up for me.
Worldwide 402. So this is already gonna beat that.
Okay.
What was the budget of Eternals? Eternals movie budget. 200 million. Okay, so no.
Okay,
so, Eternals is the lower performer, but that also does have the quote unquote benefit of releasing in the point in time where are people really going back to movie theaters? No Way Home hadn't released yet. Phase 4 was off to a rocky start. These is not characters that have any draw.
Also worth noting that those are entirely new characters, an entirely new property. This is the third movie in an Ant-Man trilogy, kicking off Phase 5, introducing our next big villain, our next Thanos, and this is how it's performing. I believe as early as the Wednesday following its release, it was beaten by... No, it was the following Wednesday, it got beaten by Cocaine Bear, right? Yeah. And, Cocaine Bear did finish number 1. In its opening weekend, correct?
No, it didn't.
Okay. I don't know. Regardless, I'm getting my wires crossed here, but yes, it was. What I said initially was correct. But as early as the Wednesday after Cocaine Bear was beating it. Yeah. Also worth noting that, of course, this had a 69.9% drop, if you really want to be specific. The largest drop-off in the second weekend for an MCU film. The fourth largest for a superhero film. Tucker, let's play a little game. Yeah. What are the 4 superhero films that had a worse second weekend drop-off than Quantumania?
I'm just going to think of some notoriously bad, like, mid-2000s superhero movies.
Oh, these are all modern ones, actually.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I'm looking at modern superhero films.
Fantastic?
No Fantastic.
Dark Phoenix?
Dark Phoenix is on there, yep.
Does New Mutants count? That might not have dropped that much because it was already in, like, the most depressed possible box office period of all time.
Yeah,
I honestly, I could not tell you.
You having a hard time? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Tucker, what if I were to tell you that Morbius is on that list?
Oh, never mind that.
Morbius has
honestly forgot that came out.
Morbius is the worst second weekend drop off for a superhero film. You got X-Men Dark Phoenix, but you also
I'm pretty
missed.
sure it's called just Dark Phoenix there.
It is just called Dark Phoenix. Box Office Mojo has it as X-Men Dark Phoenix, so I don't know. You also have the Suicide Squad on there. 2021's The Suicide Squad.
That's so much better than the other ones. Holy shit.
Yeah. And that's it. Yeah, that's it. It is number 4. Sorry,
Yes.
Excuse me. That's 3 above it. Did you know that? By the way, while I'm scrolling down this list here, Deathly Hallows Part 2 had a really bad second weekend drop off, like above 70%.
Really?
Yeah. Interesting stuff.
Especially for a movie that did very well. Very rare.
Yeah. And maybe that's just a thing of like everyone saw it and then decided they didn't need to see it. So I don't know. Oh, Tucker, you hear that?
Knock, knock, knock. Oh, what's that?
It's your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Jesus Revolution.
How long are we gonna talk about this shit?
Well, Tucker, I saw this film, so I have to talk about it.
That's a great point, and that's one of the saddest things I know about you.
Tucker, are you sad that I was awoken to the spirit of Jesus Christ inside me? I welcomed him into my heart.
Didn't you give this like a 4 or 5?
Yeah, it's not a good movie. It's a bad one.
Okay.
But not according to the fine folks over at Cinema Score, A+.
Which makes you ask where they're polling for a movie like this, because if a movie like Magic Mike's Last Dance, which is from an established director, which is in a mildly popular subgenre small series, gets no Cinema Score, they're not polling at all for that. But Jesus Revolution gets a Cinema Score at all, and then it's A+. Where the fuck are they polling for this?
No, it's really who they're polling, I think, is the important thing.
Sure.
Because who is going to go see this opening weekend? Obviously, your target demographic. It's a faith-based film. You're going to have Christians going to see this one.
Yep.
And, I mean, more power to them. When I went to go see it the Tuesday after release, that theater was still quite full. So,
wow. Interesting. Huh.
Yeah. Now, this is the 5th best opening for a faith-based film. So, obviously, you have stuff like, I'm blanking on it. Passion of the Christ, thank you, is number 1 on that list. But also such classics as The Shack, Tucker. We all remember that. We all remember
what
The Shack.
What the hell?
I Can Only Imagine, Heaven is for Real, Son of God. I'd also like to mention, and I excluded these.
I've only heard of Passion of the Christ there. 100% honestly.
Tucker, you gotta spin in the right circles here. Okay?
That's a great point, my bad.
I've heard of all of those. Because they all released while I was in high school. So
sure. And
I'd
high
also
schoolers
like to mention,
can't get enough of faith-based films.
Well, the circles that I was in, as a church-going fella.
Yeah.
And not a fart smella.
Not a church smella.
I was gonna say, did you know that on Box Office Mojo, they count the Chronicles of Narnia films as faith-based?
Why?
Because T.S. Lewis was a Christian, and like Aslan is like a Jesus figure in those movies. I didn't count them because I think that's horse shit.
No,
but
that's stupid.
Yeah.
That's
anyway,
category fraud.
It is category fraud, isn't it? And speaking of our underestimation of Jesus Revolution, everyone was underestimating it. It was projected to make $6 to $7 million opening weekend, and
doubling that is insane.
It made that in its first day. It made that on Friday.
Yeah. And already made back its budget, on its way easily in these in the week and a half, almost 2 weeks since it's been released, to doubling its budget, which is, I'm sure, more than what they could have asked for.
Yeah, honestly, and it is largely, people are praising it and saying it is so popular because of its positive faith-based message. This is up there again with things like I said, like Heaven is for Real, which is like very heartfelt. And The Shack, of course, which is very heartfelt, very heartwarming. We're not doing a Left Behind Rise of the Antichrist here.
What the fuck? Oh, I forgot that happened. That was like...
Yeah, that was
oh, God, The Shack has Sam Worthington in it. No!
It does.
No!
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if you are going to put out a film like this, I think the lesson is you got to go the VeggieTales route rather than the Fire and Brimstone route. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
Make people feel good about having Jesus and stuff like that. And also set it in the 60s, apparently. That's also successful.
Yeah, that really just pulls everyone to the box office?
I think it does.
Oh, Tanner. Tanner.
What?
Oh, God.
What is that?
Knock, knock, knock.
Oh, is it the cocaine bear?
It's a bear high on cocaine.
Oh, fuck. Crazy counter-programming for Jesus Revolution. Well, Jesus Revolution was the counter-programming, let's be real.
Yeah.
Cocaine Bear. The meme sensation. The internet sensation.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Lots of good marketing for this, and it paid off, I would say. This isn't a movie that's making back its budget in its first weekend like a gangbuster like Jesus Revolution.
Yeah,
but it is doing solidly for itself. 23.2 opening weekend has made its budget back, and you think this will end up doubling its budget, Tucker?
I don't know. I'm going to, at least for right now, say no. We don't really know what the legs are in this are going to be like, but it is being released into a very saturated market. A competitive market unlike anything we've seen over the last couple years since the box office has sort of reformed itself. Since F9 brought people back to cinemas in summer 2021. Yeah. So I just don't think Cocaine Bear has, though it had a strong opening, I don't think it has the draw to tackle John Wick and Shazam and Creed coming off of its tail. So, yeah.
Yeah, it is a good point. It had its time in the sun. You know, lots of people talked about it. A good chunk of people went out to see it. It's impressive for a rated R film, of course, to have that sort of thing. Lots of marketing, and it paid off, as I said. And, you know, it seems that this is a fairly positive reception. You got a 69% on Rotten Tomatoes, debuted with 100%, which
helped.
So funny. Which helped it with that marketing push, I would say, is that, you know, when it first debuted on the Tuesday, Wednesday before release, it was like, everyone, it's the best movie of the year, or whatever. Yep. 6.4 on IMDb, 54% Metacritic, all that good stuff. B- cinema score, so... Yeah. Solid. People liked it. People had a good time.
What I really respect Universal for is that they have found a niche market of weird concept shit. Just putting them out, having a good time, and you're like, hey, Megan's gonna make some good money, Cocaine Bear's gonna be funny, and that's a segment of the market that we haven't really seen filled in a while. So I'm just so happy Cocaine Bear is a thing. They got this movie made. That bear looked pretty damn good for all things considered, and it's not going to make a ton of money, but a movie like this having almost a 70 on Rotten Tomatoes is insane. Because this is a movie that could have easily come out, been terrible, gotten a 24% on Rotten Tomatoes, and then it would have been like reclaimed 5 years later actually this was a camp horror classic. But no, it's actually done fine for itself.
It is, yeah, I think Cocaine Bear is a success story, I would say. Yeah. For Elizabeth Banks, everyone involved, good stuff, good job. Looking forward to Cocaine Shark, or whatever they're doing.
Can't wait.
Cocaine Bear 2, perhaps.
Tanner, knock.
Oh, hang on. Oh, I was about to do a regular intro, but no, we got headlines. The news of the week is here. News of the month, rather. We got a good chunk of headlines here. Lots of films being announced. And speaking of announcing films, Disney at an Investors Day meeting announced that Inside Out 2, Toy Story 5, and Frozen 3 are all in the works. They got burned. Their hand was burned by the cruel intentions of the public when they didn't go out to see Lightyear. So fuck it, straight up numbered sequels. We're doing it.
Yep. I'm excited for these movies. I know that a number of people hold out judgment for something like Toy Story 5 happening. I really do feel that the Toy Story movies have been probably the most consistent thing that Disney or Pixar has ever done in terms of I like all of those movies. I even like Lightyear, which I know is not necessarily a popular opinion, but I absolutely think there's potential for Toy Story 5 with that new cast of characters established in 4. And people said the exact same thing about 4. And now, granted, I know that the movie audience doesn't like Toy Story 4 that much, but I think it earned its fucking place.
Did people not love? People loved Toy Story 4, didn't they?
Not that everyone that I've talked to is like, that was a huge waste of space.
Oh, okay. Well, you're talking to cynical fucking film haters on Twitter.
Yeah, I guess so.
That movie made
$1 billion.
It did. So yeah, people liked it for sure.
Yeah,
and same with
The thing that I am happy about here, with Inside Out 2 and Toy Story 5, both very safe money-making films, is that these films are going to be released theatrically. They're going to be success stories for Pixar. They're going to put Pixar back into where they have been for almost their entire history, taking back the is Pixar floundering? Their movies aren't making very much money. They're being straight sent to Disney Plus. That's not going to happen with these, and they're going to come out in like 3 or 4 years. But we have that to sort of lean back on. It's like, even if Elemental and Elio don't do very well, Inside Out 2 and Toy Story 5 are in the works. So Pixar has something to like spring themselves back up from the grave. Even though basically all the movies, all the movies they've put out since the pandemic happened, I think have all been good. They just haven't been success stories in the same way.
Yeah, that's the real thing, is that Pixar's star is waning in the eyes of the public and in the eyes of what the investors view as important, which is those dollar bills, yo.
Yeah.
Speaking of dollar bills, Warner Brothers is trying to. We said that earlier. Warner Brothers is trying to rake those dollar bills in, and make more Lord of the Rings films. Surprise, surprise, they're going for it.
Now, how much do you know about these? Okay, live action. That's a good place to start.
All they've said is that they want to make it. They want to make Lord of the Rings like Star Wars, and
God.
Yeah, that's
no.
I saw lots of people being like, "Oh yeah, so Star Wars movies are very well received recently, right? Star Wars is being very well received recently."
Yeah, it's been what, 4 years since the last Star Wars movie, which was not received well, even though it did make a lot of money.
Yeah, and they also said that they'd like Peter Jackson back, which if you know anything about the production of the most recent Lord of the Rings films, the Hobbit trilogy, he is absolutely not fucking coming back. Those films almost killed that poor man.
God damn. Yeah, we'll see if this even happens, to be 100% honest.
Yeah.
I think that if there's the potential to make some sort of Lord of the Ring based film that is maybe using some of the characters that they now have established in Rings of Power. I don't even know how different that series is.
Who cares?
Whatever.
Tucker, who cares about Rings of Power?
I don't. I absolutely don't.
If you're in the comments and you're watching this video and you care about Rings of Power, let us know, because as far as I know, no one watches that show.
Let us know
down
in
the
comments. Is there another
comments.
season of that coming? Do you know?
Probably. They're not going to let that ship sink. But in reference to Lord of the Rings films, oft forgotten in this conversation is the animated Lord of the Rings film that's coming out next year. Lord of the Rings.
Whoa, what?
Yeah, coming out next year. March 29th.
Huh.
I think that was announced a year or two ago. I remember talking to Timo about it. Our good friend Timo Nelson, co-host, one of the co-hosts on Quest for the Bestest.
No, he's the host of Quest. Let's be real.
Oh yeah, he's the host. Host of Quest for the Bestest. Big fan of Lord of the Rings. When we were in Austin, Texas for the first time, I told him, like, hey, Timo, they're making an animated Lord of the Rings film. Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim? I don't know these stupid fantasy words. Timo, if you're in the comments, if you're watching this video, let me know how to say that. Spell it out phonetically for me. But yeah, I mean, that's coming out, and they're doing more live action ones, so they are making it like Star Wars, I guess.
The reason I have very low amount of faith in this is that Warner Brothers they're running low on cash. We just talked about how they couldn't even put Magic Mike's Last Dance out in a normal release. Do they have the money to balance doing a whole new slate of DC films and TV shows and make Lord of the Rings a Star Wars-like? I don't believe that for a single fucking second. But if they do, that could be interesting. I don't know.
Second win for Warner Brothers. You know, I'd be happy, I guess, because I like superheroes and I like Lord of the Rings. So, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Let's switch that budget dial all the way to the back and talk about The Back Rooms. Blumhouse's The Back Rooms film is in development. Now, if you're an old head, you don't know what The Back Rooms are. Let's rap with you here. Okay, hang on. Let me spin my chair around like a real cool young guy.
Oh, I see. Is that what the cool people are doing?
Yeah, that's what the cool people do. I can't. Okay, here we go.
Checking.
I'm kind of doing it. So The Back Rooms, folks, is a series of YouTube videos, which are roughly about this, like, interdimensional space wherein weird squiggly monsters roam, and you get trapped in there, and it's all like these weird industrial hallways, I guess I would describe them as. And they're making a movie about it, directed by the creator of The Backrooms, who at this point is a 17-year-old high school student. Tucker, you watched all the Backrooms videos, so as a Backrooms fan now, how do you feel about this movie coming out?
I'm really excited for the potential of this. I think that giving someone who is so skilled and so creative a budget to work with, I do worry a tad about having a 17-year-old, or I guess he'll probably be 18, 19 by the time that movie is actually in production, behind the camera. But if you go watch the Backrooms videos, especially some of the earliest ones, these were made by one kid with After Effects, and the special effects in there are so seamless that you and I were asking each other where they filmed it.
Yeah.
They didn't film it. It's all in a computer. And that's insane. So imagine what a more substantial story, a bigger budget, some actual actors can do for a concept that is so unique. That is found footage and SCP and sort of this liminal space horror that, as far as I know, I guess Skinamarink maybe hasn't really been touched in horror. So I think this could be huge for them, especially if
I think
they
it is
budget it small. They let the creative voice of this young man come through. I think this could be it's easily at the top of my most anticipated projects, even though there's a chance it could be bad. But I have full confidence in this, to be 100% honest.
Yeah, I mean, you have the previous, like, creepypasta films, like Slender Man, which came out. Yeah. But this is, like, a new sort of era. This is very recent, is a very recent phenomenon, and they are letting the creator of the concept direct the film, and the creator of the original shorts direct the film. So, yeah, I'm also excited for this, for sure. No, we're going to crank that budget all the way to the front again to talk about Marvel movies. Steven Yeun has been cast in a role in the Thunderbolts and future MCU films that is, quote, very significant to the future of the MCU. Streets are saying century. Some of the streets are also saying not century, so...
Specifically not, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll just have to wait and see, I suppose. Thunderbolts is next year, I believe, next October. Let me find out. Tucker, what do you feel about Steven Yeun being in the Thunderbolts?
I don't know. To be 100% honest, my only experience with him is in Minari and Nope, which he was great in both those movies. Obviously, Oscar nominated for his role in Minari. But I haven't seen him in that bold of a role. If he is going to be a powerhouse character that is going to be continuing to return. I'm saving judgment. This doesn't excite me at face value. I think that Steven Yeun does best in the little bit simpler roles that I've seen him in. But also, I don't know his range as an actor, and this could be something entirely fresh for him. And so I hope that he's excited about it.
I hope that he is too. He's certainly excited about the paycheck that he's going to cut from these things. But Thunderbolts is July 26th of next year, so big summer release for Marvel.
As of now.
As of right now. Actually, let's just jump ahead to that since we're in Marvel Town right now. Let's talk about The Marvels, which recently got delayed until November 10th. It was supposed to come out in July, but got pushed back because, as Kevin Feige said, they are focusing on quality control. They are slowing down the creation process. They might even be canceling some TV shows in the works.
They need to.
And you and I are both unanimously positive about this decision.
Absolutely.
I'm okay with us not getting 7 Marvel projects a year if we're getting even like 3 or 4, as I anticipate we might be, 2 movies, 2 shows, something like that. Like what James Gunn said that DC is going to do going forward. I think it's interesting that Marvel really jumped in, like they cannonballed into this idea of concurrent movies and TV shows coming out, multiple projects a year, just in that slowed down their process a little bit, made people feel inundated with the stories, made the product a little bit more sloppy, right as DC was getting into the game, and DC learned those lessons, or it seems they are trying to learn those lessons.
Hopefully, we'll see.
Yeah, but I think it is interesting how there's this balance between these two superhero franchises. But give me your thoughts on the production process slowing down here.
Now, we'll have to see what this really means in terms of the schedule, because as of what we know for now, they already have their movie slate, except for, I guess, like Blade, because that's like a confusing mess or whatever.
That has a new date. Blade has a new date.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. But there's a few question marks, whether they do with Spider-Man, Deadpool, Blade. These aren't as set in stone and, okay, we're working in the production as a lot of these things. Thunderbolts, multiple Captain America movie, multiple Avengers movies. They've got things that they have dates for, and they set forth this is what Phase 4 and 5 are going to be. But we'll see how much they change that.
Yeah.
The reason that I am hesitant that the movie dates will change that much is the Marvels was delayed from July to November, and that's fine. But that's also because that was going to be a even bigger gap anyway between the Marvels and God, whatever's next. That New World Order.
Captain America: New World Order is May 3rd of next year. And
can you imagine? Like that would be, except for the pandemic, the longest gap between Marvel movies from July to May with no Marvel movies. And the gap between Guardians and the Marvels would have been the shortest. One of the shortest gaps between Marvel movies. I think Shang-Chi and Eternals were like back-to-back months. But this is a good sign for the Marvels. I'm excited for that movie. I really want to see Kamala on the big screen. Give Carol Danvers another chance at a quote-unquote solo movie. But this movie getting better production time, more time to sit in the oven, do reshoots if necessary, rewrite things, better special effects. Hopefully, Guardians. I hope Guardians is great. If that is great, and the Marvels turns out to be great because they gave it an extra 4 months in the oven, that's a win for everyone.
Yeah. And we say that they're slowing the process down, and maybe there'll be some delays in the future, but we got Ant-Man and Quantumania and Guardians this year, as well as the Marvels now in November. But come next year, as of the dates right now, it is Captain America May, Thunderbolts July, and then Blade in September. So we'll see if they switch around, or if we're just back to the old programming, I guess. Yeah. More movies, Tucker. More movie news. We got lots of more movie news.
Let's speed through a couple of these. Okay. We've been talking a lot about some of these.
We have, and a couple of these we don't have anything to say. Hellboy reboot in the works.
Never seen a Hellboy movie. Don't care.
Hopefully it'll be good, and when it comes out, we'll be watching all of them.
Yep.
How to Train Your Dragon. Yes. Yeah, that's the thing about it, isn't it? That I'm right. How to Train Your Dragon live action adaptation coming out in March 2025.
Incredibly surprise announcement. Who the hell expected this? Who the hell knows what this is going to look like? Are they going to make Toothless not cartoony and like realistic? Or are they going to put cartoony Toothless next to real guy Hiccup? I don't know.
I'm just going to say, I'm going to echo Guillermo del Toro. Animation is cinema. You don't need to remake these animated films that came out less than a decade beforehand.
It's true.
The I Am Legend sequel, starring Will Smith and Michael B. Jordan, who's hot right now, is moving forward.
He's always hot.
Yeah, I agree. So that's interesting. And by the way, they are doing, they've said, confirmed, when they announced this, they're like, the non-theatrical ending to I Am Legend is now canon going into this sequel.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. Never seen I Am Legend.
Oh, you never seen I Am Legend?
No.
It's an alright movie. Anyway, so Tucker, I won't spoil the ending for you and what the new ending is going to be.
Tanner, what the fuck is The Holdovers?
Oh, The Holdovers is Alexander Payne's new movie. I just put that in there.
That's right. You told me this like 4 times, and every time I promptly forget it because guess what? That's a not very interesting name for a movie.
No, Paul Giamatti's in that one. Alexander Payne could be an Oscar contender for next year. Got a confirmation, and they're setting it up to be because it's got a November 22nd release date. So right in the heart of awards movie coming out season. We also, speaking of Past Lives, A24 movie, big out of Sundance, got a limited release date for May 19th. And Tucker, I'll let you take this next big one, because I know it's your baby, your child, your sweet cheese, Detective Pikachu 2.
Yeah, that was announced, I believe today, as of recording. This is like 5 years away, so whatever. And Jonathan Crystal, I looked him up, and he's like done like some TV maybe and like a couple shitty movies, or I don't know.
So he's on Portlandia, Tim and Eric's.
I don't even know what that is. I've never heard of it.
Yeah, these are Baskets. Okay, so these are like sort of irreverent, edgy comedy shows kind of. They're not like network TV, like CBS, Fox kind of comedy shows. Okay. They're weird kind of. They're that kind of stuff.
Sure. Well, I only have faith in this because I like the first movie, and I'd like to see what they can do with more live-action Pokemon movies. But this is the bare concept of my idea. Who even knows if this is going to go through?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully. I thought that first Detective Pikachu movie was good. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
it
not
was
not a big Pokemon fan, but it was good enough for a kids movie. And then finally, we're merging the camps of video games and movies once again. The Dead by Daylight film is in production from Blumhouse and James Wan's Atomic Monster studio.
Yeah.
I believe this is the first of many collaborations from them. Actually, that Y2K movie that also got announced is also Blumhouse
That
Atomic
announced
Monster.
this month?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah. Yeah, that's it's another one of those. It's gonna be a bodies type. Lots of young new stars. They're at a party together in a house. There's gonna be chaos, of course, as the Y2K bug breaks out in real life this time. So fun stuff.
Yeah. This is something that I'm even more hesitantly interested in. I like what Blumhouse does. They are kind of the kings of modern horror.
Yeah.
Especially combining with Atomic Monster. James Wan is 100% the king of modern horror.
Mm-hmm.
But Dead by Daylight is just a horror franchise aping on other horror franchises. And as someone who's not a particularly huge fan of the game, it is a very popular video game.
It's a popular game, yeah.
I don't know what the identity of this film is going to be. As far as I can tell, it will just be a Friday the 13th Texas Chainsaw Massacre ripoff. But it'll have the Dead by Daylight name attached to it. So hopefully Blumhouse and James Wan can give this some punch. I make someone who's into video games and into horror recognize a character from this universe. But at the moment, I'm like, this could be just one of the most generic possible elements of coming up horror. Yeah. No faith in this, to be 100% honest.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, we'll see, I guess. It's also got that anchor of being a video game adaptation attached to it, so...
Which drags down a lot of things. Tanner?
It does.
The Minecraft movie was supposed to release in, 2019.
It was, wasn't it? That's not getting made, is it?
As far as I know, it's still in production. We'll have to do some research about that. Jesus Christ.
We'll do that. But also Mario, so...
True.
But Tucker, that's
Sonic
2 months away.
3, releasing alongside the Seed Bear, remember?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Tucker, those are ages away. One of those is coming out in April, but we got to talk about March. We got to talk about March, Tucker. Let's take a look at the releases coming out. Well, in the month that we are currently in, and we have already seen Creed 3. Enjoyed that. You know what? Card in the corner for that review. Why not?
Oh, boom,
bang. Boom.
Yeah.
It's one of those corners. But also March is a big month, Tucker.
Yeah.
We could have a extremely interesting show next month when we talk about these releases, because Creed 3 is going to be huge. Apparently, our estimates for it were sort of
way
undershooting.
Yeah.
Because it's potentially could make $50 million this weekend. We'll find out. Scream 6 is also going to be big. Well, you seem to be sowing some doubt, and we'll get into that in a moment.
I've been on Twitter today, and just everything I've seen is people like, oh my god, this movie is great, and the marketing is great, and maybe I'm just not paying attention. Because I was talking to you last time, like, I kind of feel like the marketing is bad for this, but maybe I'm just wrong about that, and I'm just, not opening my eyes.
Yeah, but you also have, obviously, John Wick movies are always big. John Wick 4 coming out this month. And even then, some lower-key... I gotta talk about Shazam. Shazam's coming out, Shazam Fury of the Gods.
Don't have huge faith in that.
It's gonna flop. We're gonna see how hard it's gonna flop.
Yes.
That's the question. But also some low-key stuff like 65, starring Adam Driver, coming out this month. Are people gonna go...
that's gonna make $65 million opening weekend.
$65 million opening weekend? Oh my god! But we'll have
it's right there in the title, Tanner.
If people are gonna come out to see that sort of very simple concept, Adam Driver killing dinosaurs, that sort of thing.
Again.
Inside, Willem Dafoe, we're both excited for that one. That one's not going to do well at the box office, but we're going to be there.
No, but I also don't think it's positioned to be. So
No. Champions and A Good Person, going to bring up the rear of the month, most likely. Smaller personal films like that. Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves is a question mark. Maybe the biggest question mark of the month of how big that movie is going to be. Is it going to flop, or is it going to do decent for itself? I think that'll be very interesting.
I'm smelling a flop.
Smelling a flop? Yeah. I don't think you're far off. Yeah. And Operation Fortune also already came out this weekend. It is doing very poorly. Made $1 million.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Oh God.
Anywho's will be. It came out the
But hey,
sacrifice.
it's fine. Guy Ritchie's gonna have another movie in like a month or whatever.
It's coming out in April. The
Yeah.
Covenant. Get hyped, Tucker. I'm excited for March. I think we have a potential for a lot of good movies here. But let's look at our predictions for
high performing movies.
And I think Scream 6 is going to be good. Inside's going to be good. John Wick 4 is going to be good. I'm going to say 65 could even be quite good.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll see.
Maybe.
We'll see.
And Dungeons and Dragons movie is directed by the guys who did Game Night, which is a movie I really like. So.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, our top 5 predictions for this coming month. Already a little bit off kilter.
Yeah.
Yeah, already off kilter, but let's do it anyway. So, I'll start off. I say John Wick Chapter 4 is going to be the big one for the month. The number one. I am saying, what do I have for that, Tucker? Tucker, I am saying John Wick 4, $45 million opening weekend. Now, if Creed 3 lives up to expectations, that the estimations right now, that could be it could be beating that already, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But I still think John Wick Chapter 4 is going to be the biggest of the month.
It's totally possible.
Yeah.
I have the most faith in horror
Yep.
being the surprise hit of the month. We're talking about a 5-movie set here that all have the potential, I'd say the top 4, all have the potential to be like duking it out within $10 million of each other. So it's a real coin toss of are people really feeling superhero fatigue and they don't go to see Shazam at all, and that drops 15 million down. Are people more into Scream, or obviously Creed is kind of overperforming as far as we know right now, or John Wick Chapter 4 gets rave reviews coming out? Like, any of these could land on any side. But this, for me, the safest bet is horror overperforming. So I have Scream 6 at the top. I think that having Jenna Ortega in the lead role here is going to put a lot of butts in seats in a way that it didn't last year. And the fact that Scream now has a new audience. The franchise had been dead for a decade, but now back-to-back year releases. And apparently it's good. So
apparently it's quite good, yeah.
Yeah.
John Wick 4 is getting rave early reactions, but also people complaining that it's 3 hours long. So that could be a hurdle for it. But could be Endgame, so who's to say? I have Shazam! Fury of the Gods at number 2. As I said, I think this movie's probably gonna be bad and not gonna do well at the box office, but I still think that there is that dedicated audience who are gonna see a superhero movie. Yeah,
the superhero opening weekend can't be understated, even though I'm understating it. So.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
And people might remember how they liked Shazam 2019, so.
Yeah, well, it was a fine movie.
Tucker, any thoughts on putting John Wick at number 2, or you just say your piece already?
Oh no, I like John Wick. I think that it's one of the I think it's probably the strongest modern franchise. That's not like DC and Marvel or Star Wars, of course. Those are the biggest things but John Wick is a 2010s movie franchise that has consistently performed well and reviewed well, and people care about it. So yeah, I'm excited for 4. I thought 3 was great, so we'll see what they do.
I do want to mention, I have Shazam at 37 million opening weekend and Scream 6 at 36 million. I think these are really the two for me that could swap places. Despite the fact that we both undershot Creed 3, putting it at number 4, when it will likely be higher than that.
I think it could easily be number 2.
Yeah.
Whether it's Shazam or Scream at the top, who knows? Creed, but also I'm the happiest that Creed.
Me too. I'm elated.
Awesome.
It's already made
so good.
It's already made 22 million opening on Friday. And I had it predicting at 33. So I undershot it for sure. And then finally rounding out our top 5, we both have Dungeons and Dragons coming out here. I'm saying 12 million for Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, maybe.
And let's talk about, because 65 is number 6, and this is the last thing that we'll really say here, I think. And it could happen. 65 could be that number 5 spot, I think, for sure.
I don't think so, man. I really don't think so. I think that the marketing for this movie has been so weird. I got a YouTube ad, a 5-second YouTube ad the other day that was just like a dinosaur screaming, and then it goes 65, and I was like, what?
But Tucker, Is that all the public needs? Do they just need to see dinosaurs, Adam Driver with a gun? When is the movie coming out? Or the name of the movie, rather.
I don't think Adam Driver is that big of a box office draw, and I don't think that concept really sells itself as anything particularly unique. That we've seen dinosaur movies, we've seen space movies, so Dungeons and Dragons, I think, having a ensemble cast, a lot more
big
variety, and an IP attached to it.
Yeah.
I don't think 65 has a chance in hell at reaching Dungeons and Dragons. Even if that movie flops, I think that Dungeons and Dragons has a mildly strong opening weekend in its future, but I don't even think that 65 has a potentially strong opening weekend.
Yeah, and the thing that will really hurt 65 is it's opening against Scream 6.
Yeah, no.
Especially when
what's the budget on that thing? I will obviously talk about this next month, but I want
Scream 6 is the Scream movies are ones that like you got to see Scream opening week. Oh God, Tucker, your face. Oh Lord, you got to see Scream opening weekend, so that'll hurt 65. Tucker, tell me the budget for 65.
There's no
I'm worried.
fucking way this is real. Tanner,
I'm worried.
Give me your highest estimate.
Oh, my highest for 65? Yeah. Okay, we're 2 cast members, heavy on VFX, so 50 million budget.
Close. Not even fucking close.
What?
Not even fucking close.
80? 120.
91 million US dollars, Tanner.
Ooh.
Can this movie double its budget? No chance in hell. I don't even think it can make its budget back. $91 million.
That's nuts. That's fucking insane.
This movie's gonna fail so hard. Holy shit.
Okay, well, hey, Tucker, who's reporting this? Is this a viable source?
Okay, well, I mean, it's on. Every source that I see is saying that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on the numbers. It's on something called Flick on Click. It's on the Wikipedia.
Okay.
Every source is saying approximately $91 million. And even if it's approximately, and we're still highballing it, and it's like 85. That's still one of. God, Jesus Christ.
That's bad stuff. That's bad stuff, Adam. I rescind my previous statement. I think this movie is it's gonna be doggy dog. Anyway,
now
that's our 5.
Let's wind this back a little bit. Let's hard shift to what a low budget could be. What's the movie Inside cost? Inside movie budget.
Interesting.
Give me your lowest estimate.
Oh, okay. 11.
Oh wait. Oh, hold on.
Oh,
this might be a French 2007 movie that I'm accidentally looking at.
Oh yeah, where it's like the 2 ladies on the poster. Their faces up and down. Okay.
I'm not seeing a budget yet. Okay.
Okay.
Well, the French film only cost $2.5 million. So.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. We'll find out all in due time. There's our top 5, folks. Let us know what you think the top 5 is gonna be. No cheating on Creed, by the way. No cheating on Creed. But thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next month, and good luck to Adam Driver.
They don't call me the old Doppler effect for nothing.
Here's because we both just did it, but the point of the Doppler effect is not for you to get quieter consciously as you move away. It just happens.
Yeah, but I can't get far enough away from my microphone for that to be. Because yeah. So you got it's a simulated Doppler effect. They don't call me the old simulated Doppler effect for nothing, Tanner.
There we go, Tucker. That's what they call you. That's why I was like. That's why I was confused.
Yeah, you're like Tucker. That sounds like. That doesn't sound like an actual Doppler effect. That sounds like your classic simulated Doppler effect.
You're fucking.
Like, that's
you're
true.
Faking it. You're a Doppler effect faker. # fake Doppler effect.
# not my Doppler effect.
There you go.